Alright, I'm Benjamin Perro, and the movie I watched was called What About Bob? The physical disorder that was illustrated in this film, Bob had general anxiety. His character did meet the criteria for this. The symptoms of mental illness we've seen in this movie. He was afraid to go out in public. He was antisocial. He doesn't like to converse with people. He was almost like a germaphobe. He didn't really want to touch anything. He put a rag around his hand before he touched anything. He's very sensitive. He gets really dizzy, sweats a lot, really nervousness. And from my research, it was a realistic portrayal for the disorder. There were no casual factors for the character's disorder in the film, but based on my research here, genetics played a big role in whether you get this disorder. Things such as brain predisposition, brain chemistry, family background, and social influences are all causes of that disorder. The types of treatment that you can get from this, what he got, I guess, in the film. He went to therapy, and the therapist actually was not a very good dude. At the end of the movie, he tried blowing Bob up, which was not very nice, but in the end, this kind of helped cure the disease, or cure the mental illness in a way. One of the suggestions was Bob take a vacation from his illness, which he ended up taking a vacation in the same place as the therapist. So that was an interesting movie to watch. And also going to a therapist is typically a way to help that disorder. You can also use medicine, which I'll get into that when I talk about my actual research. The impact on the person's disorders, the person's disorder had on his life, or others in his life, was his disorder caused his first wife, to divorce him. The impact was somewhat realistical because people don't like to associate with people that are different, and after a long time of being with somebody with mental illness, that might make somebody want to leave them. But like I said, that one's going to be kind of in the middle there, because also there are some really nice people out there that would stay with somebody like that. I think it would be hard to live with this illness, especially living alone. You would be really socially awkward, I think, and not very talkative, really sensitive. I think, being at home is going to be really hard to deal with. My additional research was anxiety. Anxiety is the most common of mental illness. It affects 30% of adults in their lifetime. It is said to help lead to be a more aware, safer, and successful lifestyle. It is more than our normal nervousness and such. It is more excessive than those. It is fear and anxiety itself. Now, as I said earlier, the main cause for general anxiety is based off of genetics. Things such as brain predisposition, brain chemistry, family background, and social influences, those can cause it. Anxiety is rising concern in the U.S. Muscle tension and avoidance behavior is associated with anxiety. Fear from anxiety can cause a fight or flight option in the time of conflict. So fight and flight, if you have a conflict, you can stand there and fight it, or you can just run and avoid it, which sometimes both are a good option. To be diagnosed with anxiety, one of the main factors is that your brain is functioning normally or not. That's how they usually choose. If it's not, they'll usually place you with it. But if it's still functionally normally they will, have it for you. They'll tell you got anxiety, diagnose you with it. So anxiety is becoming a normal thing in life to look forward to, so people prepare for it. Sometimes anxiety can go away. Other times it just gets worse and lasts a long time. Some treatment for anxiety is psychotherapy and prescriptions, like I said earlier. Another research method that I actually did was I talked with this gentleman here in Newell that has anxiety. Now, he's older and didn't want me to use his name, so I'm not going to use his name. When I talked with him, I asked him what was the hardest part, about living with it. He said the hardest part for him was going out and facing public. Coming to gas stations, stuff in town. I work at a gas station here in town, so I see him quite a bit. When he comes into Conoco, he doesn't really like to associate with very many people. I kind of asked how it started developing, and he said it started, middle school. He was kind of antisocial then and shy. Didn't really like to converse with people much, and he said that's where it basically started. The final resource method I used is, just a general anxiety research. So it is caused, basically how it is caused, which I already somewhat talked about, so I'll go more in depth. The effect of drugs can really, burst anxiety. Other medical symptoms can cause it too. Pain anxiety disorder can be caused by caffeine and speed, which is just another word for amphetamines when they're not prescribed. Heart issues can also, cause a blockage and stuff. And mostly if your heart gets pumping enough, that can cause it too, but that's just temporary. So overall, I think this was a really good movie to watch, and mental illness was really portrayed realistically here. So that's that. Thank you.